Howdy. It is I once again, your friendly neighborhood cinema junkie, and I have done run out of movies. No, I don't mean I ran out of movies so much as I ran out of packages to receive. All the stuff I ordered, it came in. I'm done. Excuse me. Um, I did order one just the other day, so maybe in a week or so, it'll come in. But as far as the stuff I ordered for my birthday, no dice, all done. It was fast. It was really fast. I thought for sure it would be like a couple weeks before I got everything in. But it was fun. Can't say it wasn't. Shoot, excuse me. So yeah, I've been watching a few of the movies that I ordered, and some of the movies that I've picked up here and there, and I've been catching up on some of the ones that I've had for a long time now and never watched. Um, I buy them because they sound good in the description. Then I get them and I get sidetracked, and I don't watch them for a long time. So I have 5 movies in front of me, and let me start with the one that will probably have the shortest review on it. And if you guys remember, I just received this one. It's called Vinyan. Vinyan. I found out through the movie that a Vinyan is a spirit that doesn't rest. It even says here on the back, if I would have bothered to read this part, it says, when someone dies a horrible death, their spirit becomes confused and angry. It becomes Vinyan. It's a Thai word, I believe. And this movie centers around this couple here who lost their son in a tsunami. They're at a fundraiser for charities and such, and they're showing a video of these children, and there's one child walking away, and she grabs the remote and rewinds it and says, "That's our son." So she's convinced that her son didn't die in the tsunami. He just wound up in a foreign country and got traded to someone. So she convinces her husband to pay money to get taken to some of the more remote areas to look for her son. He's convinced the son is dead, but she wants to hold on to every shred of hope that her son is alive. Uh, on the way, he pays big time money to get taken to these little remote areas in these little jungles. And there's one part where the guy that takes him there says, there's reports of a white child in one village, and I'll take you there. I mean, everyone there is like from Thailand and Cambodian looking. So a white child was pretty much stand out, right? Well, they get there, and it's just a little Thai kid who they threw flour on, and he's saying, "Mommy," and he tells her that he's Joshua, but they're trying to sell him to them. He pays money to find his son, but they're basically what the money was for was to buy a child. They sell their children to people who want them just to make some cash, and it's kind of a deep story. I wouldn't call it so much horror. It really wasn't a horror movie. Um, but while they're looking, they wind up in this village with all these kids. This kid here. It's like Lord of the Flies almost, and they're really savage, and I guess they're children that nobody wanted because it's all children. There's no adults there except for these 2 old people that live in a little hut, and they look scared. So it culminates into her like being accepted into the group, but the husband isn't. And as I said, the reason I ordered it, somebody made a review on it saying that there was a scene towards the end that was full of gore and it was unnecessary. It made me think it was going to be some really, really heavy shit. It wasn't. In fact, it was kind of weak. By my standards, pretty weak. Sorry if I keep making like these weird motions with my mouth. I feel like, ugh, get that weird pasty feeling. But yeah, it was deep a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be. A little, I guess, sophisticated for the type of movie it was. And the ending was good. It was a good movie overall. I can't say it was a bad movie. Wasn't what I was expecting. Mm, I'm starting to think that since, I mean, it's named Vinyan, which is an angry spirit, and I'm starting to think that maybe all these children are spirits of children who died. Maybe, I don't know, but they seem pretty human. They seem, you know, okay. But there was a part at the end where, like I said, this lady gets accepted into their tribe, and she's standing there, and they're rubbing mud because they're covered like in mud and all this stuff, and they're rubbing mud all over her body. All the kids are surrounding her. They're kids. They're little kids. I'm talking like from 5 to maybe 12, 13. And they're rubbing mud all over her body, and she's just kind of looking at all of them and smiling and stuff. And at some point, you see these little hands coming up, and they're rubbing her tits. I mean, for a long time, they're just like rubbing them and massaging them, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, I was aware of boobs when I was a little kid. I knew that it was something that girls had and guys wanted. And I can't imagine that most of those kids that were doing that weren't doing it because, you know, they were into it. They knew what was up. So I don't know. I think that, you know, you put a woman in the middle of little boys and get rubbed up all over, especially like her knockers and stuff, and it's called art. And you reverse the roles and put a guy in the middle of a bunch of little girls. He's a pedophile, and everyone wants to shoot him and kill him. So I think it's kind of a skewered concept. But bottom line, Vinion, I liked it. Not sure when I'll watch it again, but I might. It was okay. It was cool. Next up, Hallettsville. Hallettsville deals with a place in Texas where a bunch of kids got killed in a schoolhouse, in an old schoolhouse, many, many, many years ago. And it had to do with a demon, I think. I don't know. It kind of lost me a little bit. This is a movie that had great, great potential, and most of my faith was put into it because it starred Gary Busey. Don't laugh and don't hate. Gary Busey was on Celebrity Apprentice, so you know he's got chops. The movie just had all these like weird parts in it, man. I wish I could pinpoint more, but as an example, there's one part where they all take a little road trip to the house, to the little place out there in Hallettsville. It used to be where the schoolhouse was, but there's a regular house on top of it. And 6 friends go out there. And there's a part where the girl says, where's the bathroom? And he's like, I don't know. And like, first of all, let me say that a lot of these lines, it's like they made them up on the spot. It didn't even sound like there was a real script. They just kind of like just threw out anything. So she says, where's the bathroom? He's like, I don't know. And she goes, I'll find it. And she turns around and walks past the door. And when they walk past the door, they had that dramatic scene with dun. They had the music dun. And the only person standing there in the doorway was their friend who drove. And he's just standing there like, oh, I'll get the rest of the bags. And he walks outside and gets them. I'm like, what was the fuck with the piano? Why were you making that all dramatic? And then there's a scene where this girl's in the bedroom, and there's this shadowy figure looking at her, and she runs out screaming, ah, there's something in the bedroom. So they all run in there panicking. And one of them says, what are we looking for? And she says, I don't know. Again, goes, I don't know. Just like that. And one of the guys looks under the bed and sees little kid feet running across, but there's no kids in the room. So he claims that he doesn't see anything. And so they just chalk it up to her overreacting to something. So they say, yeah, everything's cool. It's all right. And then she stands there and adamantly tells them, I know what I saw. No, you don't know what you saw. You just told them you don't know. When they asked, what are we looking for? You said, I don't know. So no, you don't know what you saw, you idiot. And there's some little gore here and there. It gets a little bloody at times, but man, it was so loose. Okay? Overall, it came off like a well executed fart. Just like, it was just, there it is. A couple of scenes, we spent all the money on the stunt with the truck. And now we got to get some guy in there that looks like the devil, but it's like the guy from Legend, like Tim Curry in Legend. And it had to do with taking like the last member of a family, of a bloodline, and the ending was really, really predictable and weak. Yeah, this movie held a lot of potential. A lot of potential. I was watching it and I said, yeah, all right. And then as it went on, I was just kind of like, come on, and no, nothing. So, Hallettsville's kind of a fail. Can't really give it a pass. Now, Echo. I have the picture here. Yeah, it's right there. See? Echo. This one was a lot better. I like this one. This guy right here. He's out of jail. He's trying to start over. And, he's an ex-con. I shouldn't say he's out of jail because it makes it sound like he just got out of jail. But he's an ex-con. And he goes to live in his mother's apartment. And his mother had just passed away. So he's staying in her apartment. And he starts turning up all these little clues to his mom's way of life. Like she was going crazy a little bit. It seemed like she was losing it. He finds little things like blood on the piano keys. He finds a closet. Her closet had like cans of food in there that were rotting. So it was like she was living in her closet. And he keeps seeing this lady in his hallway who comes out of the apartment next to his, apartment 517. I remember that because that's my birthday. And she keeps coming out and asking for help and trying to knock on his door and all this other stuff. And she's being abused by her husband. And he starts like trying to follow what's going on there. He finds out that the husband is a cop, and he tries to get her some help, but he starts unraveling the truth about what's going on there. And I think you all might know what the truth is, but in case you haven't figured it out yet, I don't want to give it away. All in all, I liked it. It was like finding closure. It gives you the overall message that you have to find closure to certain things in order to obtain peace. I liked it overall. Scale of 1 to 5, I'd probably give it 2.5, 3. Watchable at least once. I dug it. I really did. I liked it. Well, I'm saving the best for last. Now, Breaking Dawn. This one's the rattiest one. One of the rattiest ones. They got stickers all over it. This was different, and I like this one. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I like this one. Had a little bit of a twist in it that I thought was kind of neat. This guy plays a lunatic to the hilt. I mean, he looks like a fucking maniac. There was the only really weak part was the makeup people really dropped the ball on this. He had a shaved head. They shaved his head for electrolysis. Not electrolysis. That's when they remove hair. Shit. Electroshock therapy. Electrolysis. Yeah, they're going to do his bikini area. So they shaved his head. Don't mind me. But they had his head shaved. And the pores, the follicles of hair. If anyone's ever seen somebody's head shaved, it looks fuzzy. It looks gray. But this guy's looked like each hair was like that big around. And all these black dots all over it. It was a bald wig, obviously, with a lot of black dots all over it. Like they took a stipple brush and just kind of put little black things all over it. At one point, there's a girl with her head shaved, and it's the exact same hair pattern. It's the exact same looking fuzzy head as his. Um, and at some point, she stands up and she's like moving her head around. As she moves her head around, right around here, you can tell it's a bald wig. It's separate from the rest of it. It's like moving around. It looks like something like on Saturday Night Live. You know, like when they just throw the bald wig and you could see like the crease here and that kind of shit. But other than that, which was pretty forgivable, um, towards the end it got a little predictable, but not anywhere near what I would call terrible. Kept my interest. Kept my interest. I liked it, and I recommend seeing it at least once, just like Echo. Give it a shot. You may walk away liking it like I did. And now, yes, 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 yes. House of the Dead Part 2. What can I say about this movie? Well, first let me start off by saying it's better than Part 1. I hate Part 1. House of the Dead 2 is better than Part 1. Now, before you get all excited and run out and grab yourself a copy of this little gem, let me say that saying this movie is better than the first one is like saying a punch in the stomach is better than a kick in the balls. Now, a lot of you ladies probably don't get that analogy. A lot of guys will get that analogy. Just about every guy will get that analogy. But a lot of you girls may not understand that because a lot of you girls think getting kicked in the nuts is like stubbing your toe. It's not. So to help you understand, and I'm just taking a stab at this because believe me, I don't know girl problems like y'all do. But I'd compare saying this is better than Part 1 to saying Indian burns are better than menstrual cramps. How's that work for you? Either one's going to hurt you, but one hurts a little less. And this one hurt a little less. It's corny. It's campy. It gets silly. But it's fun. It's one of those fun types of silly. It's a good, like, Friday night, Saturday night, got nothing better to do, junk food movie night. It's something to throw on and just kind of like, it doesn't require a lot of thought. There's some like corny parts, like a part where the librarian is a zombie and she's walking through the library and she actually tells him, shh. And I'm like, huh, all right. That had to be done. Only thing is, when they shot her in the head, there was like no blood spray whatsoever. Everybody else they shot in the head, there was like a fountain of blood. Hers, nothing. Sid Haig is in it. He plays a Professor Kurian, who was a character in the original, the game House of the Dead. He's trying to bring the dead back to life, as you know. And in this one, they do not call them zombies. They call them Hyper Sapiens. And they tie it into the first one by talking about the girl in the first movie who gets stabbed in the chest. If you saw House of the Dead Part 1, she gets stabbed in the chest and she's brought back to life with the serum. They have her character in there and they're questioning her and she becomes like the first Hyper Sapien, which really isn't true because in the first one there was a whole island full of these fuckers. So yeah, she wasn't the first one, but probably the first one on American soil. This girl here from Saw, what's her name? Emmanuelle Vaugier, I think. She's one of the leaders of an elite team of like, it's kind of like the disease control deal, but it's a militant team, and they're going in to get a blood sample of the first Hyper Sapien so they can find a deal to cure everybody. I forgot what they call that. Serum. A serum, I guess. Shit, I don't know. I haven't really slept much lately. So, and they're joined by real like military types, led by Sticky Fingers from Onyx. Remember? Slam, da 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 da. Let the boys be boys. You don't remember that? All right, never mind. Anyways, yeah, it gets super corny, man. And I found out watching this movie that I have my limit when it comes to corniness. I have my limit when it comes to silliness. Like Shaun of the Dead, I can watch all the way through. You know, horror comedies, I can watch all the way through with no problem. But a movie that's professing itself to be just a zombie movie and won't stop being corny, I have my limits. This one tested my patience about 3/4 of the way through. Uh, I was having a ball with it. I was having fun with it. Um, I forgave a lot of it. Then it just started getting annoying. And there were just some lines and things that were happening that I just couldn't get my head around. It's like there's one part where they're trying to get into an air duct, and there's like that grating on the air duct, and the girl says, "We can't open it from this side, even though there's visibly screws right there to take off and move the damn thing." But she says, "We can't take it off from this side." So the guy says, "We're going to improvise." And he goes to a chalkboard and starts drawing on a line. Never mind that they only have 10 minutes to do what they got to do before missiles level the place. They're taking time to draw out a plan, which is basically just saying, I'm going to go around to the other side. But he says something so profound at this point that I was like, yes, I'm glad they got this guy on the mission. He says, it'll probably be easier opening it from the other side. Yeah, genius. If you can't open it from one side, it's got to open from the other. Just little shit like that. It was just like, oh, come on. And then when he gets the idea, like in The Walking Dead, he cuts open one of the creatures, puts his hand in there, smears blood all over himself so that he can walk through them and everything will be fine. They'll think he's one of them. So he has the blood smeared all over him. Then he starts taking off his weapons. They say, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Can't take weapons with me. They can smell gunpowder." Say what? They can smell gunpowder? Maybe after it's fired and then it doesn't matter. You blew their brains out, but you can't smell gunpowder in a gun unless you really, really try. And I don't think you can try hard enough. But the best part was when he said they can smell gunpowder. He takes off the shotgun or whatever he's carrying, and then he takes his knife out to leave it behind because they can smell gunpowder. What? He tries handing the knife to the girl. I guess it's her knife. I don't know how you wound up with it. But I mean, take some kind of weapon just in case. Stab him in the eye, do something. But no, he leaves that behind. And they're giving each other these little speeches like, hey, in case you don't make it, I just want you to know. Yeah, I know. Don't say another. I'm like, hello, we're on the clock here. Missiles are coming. Let's go. And he goes and opens the thing. They all get through the deal. They get the sample that they need. They're all running out, and then they don't have any ammo. One of the girls that's with them gets bit. She's done. And then they're getting out of the building. This is towards the end. I'm fast forwarding to the end because this is where it started like trying my patience really bad. There's a whole group of these hyper sapiens, and apparently they all congregated into a building because none of them are on campus. They're all in the building, and it's a college, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. And they say, one last stand? Yes. One guy takes an axe, the other girl has a knife, and they just go at it. They're chopping and everything. She finds herself under a table, cutting at their legs. I don't know why. And she says, get out of here now, that's an order. He runs for the door, and this big, gigantic missile. I mean, this son of a bitch was huge. Just the impact of the missile, even if there was no warhead on it, even if there was no explosives in it, just the impact of the size of this missile should have leveled that building. It hits the building and explodes, and the front of the building is on fire. And I think they lost a banner, and a few of the windows broke. Yeah, didn't level that place at all. And then he comes face to face with this guy that wants the sample because it's worth millions and millions of dollars. By the way, that guy was handcuffed earlier, but he got out by cutting off his hand. Another Walking Dead reference, I think. So he's threatening the guy. He wants the sample. He's threatening him, and he gets shot by who? The girl that was in the building. Now, this big blockbuster of a missile was supposedly set off to eradicate the zombie plague, and she walked out. She wasn't even dirty. Okay? And that leads me to something that I noticed. That movie made me notice a whole lot of other things. In just about every horror movie that has to do with zombies or serial killers or anything of that nature, someone winds up getting chased. You with me so far? Someone winds up getting chased. And they run. And they run. And they will fall. And they will fall through mud. They will get dirty. They will get bloody. They'll do everything that happens when you're being chased by somebody. But they never, at least in here, they never sweat. You ever notice that? No matter how much pressure a person is under, no matter how much their heart races, no matter how much danger they're in, they don't break a sweat. It must be the deodorant they're using or something, because I think one of them had a phrase, never let them see you sweat. Well, you don't see them sweat, hardly ever, in almost every movie. Almost every, not all, but I noticed they don't really sweat too much. In this movie, they really didn't sweat too much. Like I said, cornballish, cheesy, fun to an extent. And if you like the first one, you may really, really like this one, because they didn't do anything stupid like try to tie in scenes of the game like the first one did. And they had some lines, like I just said, it might be easier to open from the other side. It's like, no shit. But like the first one had that one that I to this day is like one of the worst lines ever delivered. And sometimes I actually hope I'm misquoting it, because I can't believe they let something like this slide. But he tells the doctor in the first one, he said, "You did all this to be immortal? Why?" And the doctor says, "So I can live forever." No shit. That's what immortal means. So you can live forever. You did this to be immortal so you can live forever. It's the same damn thing. It's like, why were you, I don't know, running? Because I wanted to move fast. I mean, it's like being a smartass. You're answering a question with the same damn thing. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it was like, you had to come up with something better than that. Why do you want to be immortal? So I can live forever. Why do you want a lot of money? So I can be rich. Why do you want to eat? So I'm not hungry. Right? No shit. Do I recommend this movie? No. I recommend it if you're just like really, really bored and you really got nothing better to do. I mean, your chores are done. It's a free day off. None of your friends want to meet and drink. Nobody's calling you. You're sad and lonely. Pretty much the reasons I watched The Son of a Bitch. House of the Dead 2. Sid Haig is only in it like right in the beginning, and then there was one line that was delivered with him in the scene that I thought was kind of funny. This French chef goes out back to take his break. Why he's eating outside off a plate, outside in the alley by the dumpster is beyond me. Why he doesn't sit down at a table and eat, I don't know. But outside, they see Sid Haig, and Sid Haig has already been turned into a hyper sapien. And he thinks he's a homeless guy, like a bum or something. And he gives him, he puts the plate, goes, "Here, buddy, you eat." And of course, Sid Haig walks up, and he kicks the plate. And the French guy says, "Oh, you want filet mignon? Get a job." I don't know why. I thought that was kind of funny. Of course, then he gets attacked and killed. But yeah, there's no surprises with this one. You pretty much get what you pay for in this one. It's not too hard to figure out. Oh, there's one more thing. The Hyper Sapiens are mutating. Their teeth are getting bigger. And the guy said, "You ever seen a mutation like that? Have you ever seen teeth like that?" No. "Have you ever seen teeth like that on these things?" They say, "No." So they must be mutating. They're mutating. They're evolving. Later on in the movie, they get attacked, and the guy says, "Now I know why they're evolving. They need to chew through our armor." How many times do they face these guys that their bodies felt they needed the ability to chew through armor? You know what I mean? It's like, all right, that's one of those explanations that you just didn't need. It's like, okay, they're mutating, fine, just say that. Don't give us a reason why, because now you just made yourself sound stupid. House of the Dead 2. Take a shot. That's all I'm gonna say. Take a little shot. What can I say? I mean, you walk away hating it. It probably wouldn't be the first time you walked away hating a movie. You might have a couple of laughs along the way, but for me, and the long and short of it is, like, I watched it. I don't need to see it again. I don't know. I kind of knew what I was getting into when I ordered it, but I read that it was a little better than the first, or better than the first. They said something about the director said he knew how bad the first one was, so he wanted to make a better movie. Yes and no. It's a hit and miss. It's like, yeah, you made a better movie, but not by much, man. So, to sum it up, Vinian, yes, I liked it. It was deep. Wasn't a horror movie. Slow burn, kind of like Audition. Kind of pays off at the end, but not really big. I'd definitely give it a look if you get a chance to run across it. It's French, by the way, just to throw that out there. Hallettsville, a lot of potential. In the long run, it failed. You might get a kick out of some of the scenes, or if you're one of the types that likes to sit around and bust on movies with your friends, this might be the one to do it. Echo, was not sorry that I watched it. Glad I own it. Pretty good story. You can kind of tell by the cover it's a ghost story. So, yeah, his mom was kind of driven crazy by noises and stuff like that. So, yeah, thought it was a good movie. I like it. Definitely cool. Breaking Dawn had a lot of pretty good acting in it. Really good scenes. Kind of kept you guessing throughout. Then it got a little predictable towards the end. But all in all, I like this movie. If only the makeup people would have taken a little more time to make the heads look more authentic with the shaved heads. But like I said, forgivable. Fairly good plot twist, I guess. Yeah, I'd say fairly good plot twist. So yeah, I'd recommend it at least one view. I don't know if I'd run out and buy it. If you can rent it or borrow it, do so. If you can watch it online, go ahead. These are one of those ones I paid a penny for. So yeah, I liked it overall. And House of the Dead 2. What can I say? It's a sequel to one of the crappiest movies I've ever seen in my life. They do a better job of it, but not a spectacular job by any stretch of the imagination. So I can't recommend this with a clear conscience. All I can say is, if you feel like taking your chances, like I said, you might get a couple laughs out of it. You might like some of the gore in it. Maybe some of the silliness is right up your alley. If you like B-type movies with a little B-type horror in it, this may be just the thing the doctor ordered. I'd say, give it a shot, but I'm not highly recommending this at all. So there you have it. So those are my reviews of those 5 flicks. And I will have some more up really, really soon. But before I do, I'm going to try to get some sleep, because making thoughts when I haven't had any sleep makes my head hurt. And I don't like that. It sucks. So thanks, guys, for watching. As always, definitely appreciate it. Oh, shit. Oh, earthquake. The stupid desk is loose. Okay, guys, thanks. Take it easy. I'll talk to you all soon.